Hello YouTube, welcome back to the game room, welcome back to the channel. And for those of the people who haven't seen the channel before, my name's Matthew. Pleasure to have you with us, whether it's your first time or not. And as I say, we've had a lot of new subscribers recently, so thanks very much to those that keep watching and keep supporting the channel. Thank you very much. I mean, so but I'm trying to double the subscriber basis this year, so I'll see where we go. Anyway, today we're going to do another video game video. So I'm going to, for those that don't know, I haven't seen the channel before, basically I do a lot of video game related content and Magic the Gathering as well. So the video game content I've been covering mostly, I've been doing, well, it's linked in the playlist. So basically I call them my video game collection. So I've been going through a lot of my video games on various different platforms and saying a little bit about each and what I own, what I've paid for them and what they're worth, kind of thing. Now, today's video, we're going to do a hardware focused video. So today we're going to have a look at basically a collection of my computers and consoles. And basically I'll tell you a little about each and what I have, what I got them for and what I work. And you say a lot of them have been with me for those that don't know. I'm just going to show a brief panorama of the room. These are some of the things we're going to feature in today's thing. So we basically, those are some of the consoles, and you can see some more floating around in the background. So those are some of the things we're going to show in today's episode. And you need to say some of them are even outside the game room today. We couldn't get them all in the room because the boxes and that take a lot of space. So we're going to go into the hall to see the other ones. And for those that don't know, as I say, we watched the channel before, my dog is also with us. She's currently sitting on my lap. She's Soph. She's a Shih Tzu. She just had her hair cut, so she's not as hairy as she was, and she'll probably be with us for most of the video. Anyway, so basically with those that say, I'm going to start with what I use at the moment. So basically, I'm going to start with my current PC. And the PC, for those that haven't seen the video, so I did a PC video before, but this is my current PC. This is an Infinite Swarm. It's from a UK-based company called Overclockers UK. Basically, I'm going to turn the lighting off to show you the RGB lighting on it, and then I'll basically start with the Nintendo platforms, work my way through the Sega and the Sony, and then I'll end with the miscellaneous. There's going to be a bit for everything. There's going to be some classic computers, consoles, some handhelds and stuff. And you can say there's going to be some grails in there as well. And say thanks to Lewis that supplied me with 3 of the machines that I'm going to feature in the video. Anyway, thank you very much, Lewis. You get my special thanks. Anyway, going to show you a bit. My dog just got up, so she got off my lap. So I'm going to show you the RGB lighting on it. I'm just going to turn the thing off. So, but this is the PC. That's with the RGB lighting. RGB lighting, they didn't say it was all custom built, it was all built for me. This is by Overclockers UK, which is a thing. I'll show you the stats on the moment. I've got the stats up on the screen. I mean, you need to say that's it with the lighting on, it's doing its thing. When you say now it's got a 3090 in it, and when you say with the light on, I notice there's a bit of dirt seeming to focus on the graphics card. So then you say that I'm going to get a compressed air cleaner to clean it tomorrow when I need to do. Anyway, that's the PC with the lighting on, and I'll show you on the desktop. And I did a focus. I did a PC and Amiga video. Okay, so that's the stats on my PC. It's a Basilisk Swarm. It is. So that's the processor. It's about a couple of years old now. So it's got an i9 10900. That's overclocked to running at 5 gig. It's got 32 gig of Corsair DDR RAM. It's got 2 Samsung terabyte 4 terabyte EVOs for the solid state drive, and it's got a 2 terabyte SSD. So this is an 8K monitor. This is an LG NanoCell 996NA, which I use for my main display. That's a TV rather than a monitor. That's my keyboard. That's a Corsair K100 RGB keyboard. The soundbar's it's an LG soundbar, Sonos SN7SCY, I believe, and that's a Basilisk Ultimate. Right. That's my current PC setup anyway. So those that want in a bit more detail, they can have a look at it on one of my other videos. And I'll link my collection as always on price charting in the description. and those that want to look in a bit more detail can do. And you can say some of the systems in this, I use price charting for all my values, so I had trouble finding prices for some of the items on price charting. And for those, I've had to look on eBay and other sites, but those I'll tell you. I say most of my items are going to be mostly a PAL, but there's going to be some exceptions. Anyway, let's start with we'll start with the Nintendo ones, and we'll work our way through. I'll do Sega afterwards, then the Xbox, and then I'll finish with the miscellaneous as well. Alright, so let's start on the Nintendo. So to say I'm definitely a Nintendo fanboy. I've been basically getting most of the Nintendo consoles for a long time, and you say that's the stack of Nintendo things. I'll try not to spoil it too much. Anyway, so we'll go through the consoles. I mean, you say so basically my consoles I get from I'm basically trying to lift things and try not to spoil things. We'll start with that way because that's like it's showing some of it, but not too much. I mean, you need to say we'll start with the oldest one. So start with the. So basically, I've had quite a lot of them from new. But then again, I've been going to like charity shops and car boot sales. Car boot sales for those that are not based in I'm in the UK. I'm in the United Kingdom. I'm in England. So a car boot sale is basically a sort of a bit like a yard sale if you're in America. But the car boots are basically people go to like fields and stuff with their cars, and they basically sell things off a table and then those are fairly popular in the UK. I think they originate in Europe. I'm not sure. If you know where a car boot sale originates from, please let me know in the comment section. Anyway, I've been going to these in the charity shops or thrift shop as they call it in America for a very long time, and I've been collecting it like 30 plus years pretty much, and I haven't really sold anything mostly from PlayStation 1 era forward anyway, and I've been able to pick up these consoles. So basically this was a NES. The original NES or Nintendo Entertainment System, as it's called in most territories. Anyway, so this is the they're two different models of NES. This is what's called the toaster, because it looks like a bit like a toaster microwave oven kind of thing. So that's the toaster. So that's the original NES control deck. That's the one with two controllers than that. They also did another one called the dog bone, which is a different shape, and it comes in basically thing. I don't know if that one was released in this country. Anyway, so this is the NES control deck. This is the one with the two pads. This also came with in another various sets like the one came with Rob the Robot and Duck Hunt and Mario in a pack. So this one doesn't come with a game, but it does come with the two control pads. Anyway, the NES is very collectible. I mean, see, most of the Nintendo consoles you'll find are more collectible than most of the various other platforms. And you say Nintendo games, Nintendo cardboard, effectively, and first-party Nintendo games are some of them. Anyway, this is the NES. Came out in like 1985, I think. I mean, you say this is the European PAL version. This is mint in the box. I got it at a car boot. I can't remember what I paid for it. I had at least two of them I bought, and one I sold, and it went to CX a long time ago. That was the original CX store, so that was based in Tottenham Court Road in London. It used to be called the Tottenham Court Road Computer Exchange. I can't remember what I got for that one, but I mean, this one was the better condition one that I kept. This one is worth in box complete. Already for this is quite a lot. It's going for £293. All the prices I'm going to quote are going to be in pounds sterling, which is quite a lot. Anyway, the NES, definitely worth getting though if you can still find it. I mean, to say, unless you get trying to collect the games loose now, it's not really that affordable. And can you find these games in the wild? I don't find NES games anytime recently. I got about 20 something games at loose at some point or close to it. Anyway, let's start with the next one in the sequence. So we've got the SNES next. So the SNES. Now the SNES is my most favourite console for a various couple of reasons. It's probably down to how old I am. And then you say this was the one I got where I didn't get it on launch. It wasn't the first one. Yes, to be honest, yeah, the SNES I got secondhand. So the SNES was my first console. I started basically on a computer when I was 4. So I started on a BBC Micro and an Acorn Electron. So sorry before those that I go into the Acorn and the BBC aren't going to make the video. and I also had some other computers like a Spectrum Plus 2. You can see another one in the background, Spectrum, but I'm not getting onto that yet. Anyway, so say those I can't find at the moment, so I'm unable to show them. But I will show you nearly everything else I have anyway. Anyway, this is the SNES. Definitely my favourite console. I remember getting it. I got this for my birthday. So this is the only console I've ever got on my birthday. Not down to me not getting a consoles on the thing. I've basically had them for my birthday present or Christmas present, but I haven't necessarily got them on the day because most of the release dates and the ones I've got later were on launch and they haven't lined up with when they come out. I've got lots for presents, but I didn't necessarily get them. Anyway, this is the only one I got for my birthday present, on which I remember opening on my birthday. I remember coming downstairs in my pyjamas to this and playing Mario World in like my pyjamas and my dressing gown. When I was like, I would have been like, what was it, like 10 or 11, I think, when 92, 93, somewhere around that, when it came out. And you say, I remember playing Mario World in my dressing gown. I got to about World 3, I think, before I even got changed. And my dog's back. She's come to investigate. Yeah, if you can hear any purring, it's what the noise my dog makes. Anyway, she's fine. Anyway, so that's the SNES. That's Super Nintendo. It was also called a Super Famicom in Japan, or Super Family Computer, as opposed to the original NES, which was called a Famicom in Japan. Careful, Sophie, don't want to knock anything over. There are lots of boxes in there. Anyway, so the SNES, according to price charting, it's going for this version, the original version with Mario World, $430. That seems excessive to me. I don't think it's worth nearly that. Anyway, that's what price charting says. So that's what price charting says. Anyway, we will now move on to the next console in the sequence. Sorry, I might spoil some stuff there. I guess we'll do that one next. Right, so I'll start with this one next. So this is one of the grails. So this is a Pokemon. This is a Pikachu N64. For those that don't know, recently I'm trying to start. I'm basically trying to complete an entire living Pokedex for all the games, basically to try and get all the Pokemon into Pokemon Home. I've basically started on my quest to try and do this, and this is one of the things I'm also going for a complete set of the games, and this was one of the pieces I was missing. So this is Pokemon Pikachu Nintendo N64. So the N64 regular edition I got on launch, and that came from Special Reserve, which was a UK-based mail order company. They basically let me down. I pre-ordered it, and I basically didn't get it on launch, even though I pre-registered for it well in advance. Anyway, this Pokemon Pikachu N64 is a grail. It's one of the more expensive N64 variants. There are quite a lot of N64 variants. This one being this one. So this basically is I'll show you inside. So this is the box it came in. This one is beautiful, and it could do with a bit of a clean. Maybe I'll look into that at some point. Anyway, thanks for the N64, Lewis. So basically, I got this N64, which is in good box condition, an Xbox and a PlayStation item, which I'll show you later in the video. I paid $420 total for them. This Pikachu N64 is going for 350 something now, and then you say even in CX they're selling it for around 300 and something. So I think I got a deal there. I haven't used this one yet. I used one of the regular ones. I haven't got around to using this one, but I will use it at some point. I will also show you a regular N64, which my launch day model was. That's just a regular N64. That's the regular one. So I believe when the N64 came out, it was £249. I believe I got that one on day one. Where they said the N64 has got some really good games on it. The controller's good, but I have some issue with the controllers. They seem to develop a lot of where the analog stick seems to grind away at the connector. And then you say that's what a lot of them go. So I've got a lot of spare, ones with the spare controllers. They're also various different colours, and there's also there's like see-through and translucent ones as well, which are quite expensive. Anyway, this is my other N64. So this is like a Japanese model. Technically, this one is from Hong Kong. It's got the receipt from the person. I got this one at the car boot. Sorry, I'm trying to keep the glare on the camera off. I'll see what I can do. That's a bit better. See if I can get it from that angle. Yeah, that's a bit better from that angle. So that's the N64. That's a foreign model. So that was a Hong Kong. It's a Hong Kong model. So it basically plays games. Say that it's more like a Japanese machine. It will play Japanese games out the box. It will play English games with a converter, which I've got the converter in the box. I got this one from a car boot. I paid, this was ages ago, it was like 20 years ago. I paid somewhere like 30 quid for it at the time. I got the machine, machine, 4 controllers, like 4 colour controllers. They're all boxed. And like 10 games plus. I paid like 30 for it. The machine, this edition machine is going for £128 at the moment. Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you what the original machine's going for. The original machine box is like 260 something. This one is apparently 128 at the moment. Anyway, N64, a good machine. One I've got fond memories of, and I think it was the well, technically it should have been the first Nintendo machine I got on launch, but I didn't get it on launch. Anyway, that means to say, the next Nintendo machine, on the other hand, I did get on launch. So it was the thing. Oh, we'll do the handheld separately. So I'll go through the main machines and first. So it was the GameCube. So the GameCube was the next Nintendo machine, and you say I got this one on launch. So then you say the one thing that defines the GameCube is the thing, other than the games that are being quite expensive, is the carrying handle. It's got a carrying handle on the top, which basically enables you to transport the machine with a handle on it. There are not many other machines that have a carrying handle as one of their identifying features. Anyway, that's the Nintendo GameCube. This is called the Indigo model. It also came in black, which were the 2 launch colours. There's also a more desirable variant, which is called the Spice one, which is like a kind of orange coloured one, which is available. I think that one was a foreign only one. This is the GameCube. This being the launch model. I mean, so those people who don't know, this one had some weird thing on it. So bizarrely, the games came on small. They were like on mini discs. I don't. So they're like mini discs though. So they basically, you have to be careful with when you're like trying to clean them. It's more than a regular disc, because most of the machines that do like disc repair and that aren't very good on them, and some of them like need an adapter, so you have to be very careful with the discs because they're quite fragile. I don't know if they're more prone to going than some of them, but like anyways, that's the GameCube. That's the Nintendo GameCube. According to this, it's not going for very much. According to this piece of paper, it's like 65, but like I'm not sure that seems right either. But there we go. That's what it says. That's the European version, though. Anyway, the NTSC one's probably more. Okay, the next one is the Wii. I don't currently have the Wii in the rooms, but like we can tell you a bit about it. So say I got my Wii on launch. I got it brand new. I got it with some I got WarioWare. I got whatever the WarioWare. What else did I get with my Wii? I can't honestly remember, to tell you the truth, but the Wii, it has some good games. It's got a fairly unique set, but a lot of the games from that era had motion controls, basically shoehorned in. And you say a lot of those games haven't aged very well. There are quite a few that have, though. It's got lots of first-party Nintendo stuff on it. If you can ignore the shovelware, it's quite good. Anyway, so the Wii sold in a lot of copies. So it's not going for nearly as much as some of the others. It's going for about 46 quid according to this. Anyway, you say worth mentioning, if you're looking to only get so many machines and you basically want to save money, the Wii can play GameCube games. So if you want to play GameCube games and don't really need a GameCube, you can get a Wii and it will play the GameCube games as well. So it's a bit like saying some of the Sony consoles, example, will play other games. I'll point this out where I can. And then you say we'll go on to the one of the more recent additions to my gaming setup, which is the Wii U, which is hanging out there. It's up on the table in its thing. So the Wii U. So this is the model of Wii U. I got this off Facebook Marketplace. It was in one of my pickups videos. Oh, that's better. That's not as much glare. So this is the Wii U basically. So the Wii U eShop was closed recently. Nintendo decided to close the eShop, and before the eShop closed, I basically decided I wanted to pick up a Wii U because I wanted to make sure I could get the games before they go up in price, basically. I mean, say a lot of the Wii U games have been ported to the later Nintendo console, the Switch, but there are quite a lot of games on it that are not available on the Switch and are unlikely to be ported to the Switch due to the tablet. How the tablet, that's the unique selling feature on the Wii U, is the tablet. And when you say the tablet means a lot of the games aren't likely to get ported. They're things like Kirby and the Rainbow Paintbrush, which basically requires you to use the tablet and the stylus to basically drag the thing across the screen. It's in some ways it feels like a bit like a DS, or having a DS as a controller if you're more used to a handheld. Anyway, the Wii U is good, and you say it's probably going up in price. I mean, you say there are people that are going for complete sets of Wii U games. I might try and get the games that are unique to it. I'm not sure I need all the games on it, but like you never know. I got one. I paid $130 for it within the year. It's going. No, I mean I paid $150 for it. It's going for $130, but I got a lot of games with it, and I got like 3 Pro controllers with it. The Pro controllers are going for quite a bit. I think the Pro controllers are like, I got 3 with it, so they're like about 20 plus each, so about 80 quid of Pro controllers, somewhere around that mark. And the games, so I think I did all right. I mean, it was complete and boxed. Oh, you see, it's worth looking into it. There's basically a couple of models of Wii U, so they basically come with larger hard drives. Oh, this was one of the first full was like Nintendo HD primarily consoles, because like it was the Wii primarily HD. Not really, it went to 480. So this is the first full HD Nintendo console. This one is the 32 gig model, which I would recommend getting. A 32 gig model, was the original model was like 8 gig, and it's required for some of the larger games, because I don't believe you can even fit hardly any of the games on the drive. Anyway, I bought a lot of games on the eShop recently before it closed down. I got various things like NES Remix and some of the other exclusives games before it shut. Anyway, I recommend that. Also, you can also mod the machine there's various custom firmware like tiramisu and stuff on it, and you can basically it enables you to do a lot more than with the default firmware. I have yet to customize mine, but I will probably do it at some point. All right, I'm going to have to move these boxes out because we're running out of space. Anyway, last machine in the Nintendo. Oh, I said what it was going for. It's going for £130, but that's just the machine. The last model machine I got is the Switch. Oh, I didn't get a Wii U on launch. I got it way out after it came out. Alright, this is a Nintendo Switch. For those who don't know, there's there's 3 models of Nintendo Switch now. Alright, that's the Nintendo Switch up there down into the dock. Basically, the Nintendo Switch. So the Nintendo Switch, I feel it's one of the more unique Nintendo consoles because it's basically like a handheld and a thing in one go. And when you say, because they don't really do many handheld consoles now, so the Switch is basically closer to the handheld. Well, and stuff like this, the Steam Deck and stuff are going for that kind of market, or like maybe even the Analog Pocket, which is a good way to play nearly all the games on a more modern kind of platform. Anyway, this is the Nintendo Switch. This is they're basically, for those that don't know, they're basically 2 models of original Switch. One has an improved battery life and one has a one. So there's the original model is an HAC and the new model is HAD. The HAD machine has an improved battery life. Some of them have different color. I believe that the only difference between the machines is the color of the Joy-Cons. So this is a charcoal grey, I think it is. I think one has more translucent ones, which are like a red and a blue Joy-Con on them. Anyway, You say I recommend. I use a Pro controller with the Switch. The Pro controller's in the drawer. Was basically I find it. I prefer playing it with the more traditional pad personally. Anyway, I mean, you say the Switch is really good. I mean, you say most of the games are still quite expensive. People. I mean, you say I feel there is same. There's my Switch games. You can see the red mound up on there, and you say the games don't take up a lot of space compared to some of the other games I'll show you. Anyway, the Switch, we don't need to go into the pricing on any. I'm not going to go into the most recent one pricing because I know we don't need to, because we've seen all these before. Okay, we'll start with these stuff. So I'll start with my the earlier handhelds. So we go to the handhelds. These are I'll start with the mainstream ones. So this is a Game Boy Advance. This is the original Game Boy Advance one. This being the translucent one. I got this on launch. I believe I got F-Zero and can't remember the other game, but the Game Boy Advance. It's got some good games. But you can play, you could say this. Okay, this is the original model of the Game Boy Advance. This is the launch model, which doesn't have a great quality screen. It's got no backlight or anything, so it's not that great. And you don't want to, you can't during. It doesn't have a good backlight or anything, whereas the later models have backlight. So I wouldn't recommend this model of Game Boy Advance. I've had it since launch anyway. So when you say this model is going for. Let's have a look on the piece of paper. That model's going for £59, but this is one of the highlights of the collection. So this is, I'm even going to open it. So this is the game. This is an SP, which is basically the last model of Game Boy Advance that would play original Game Boy games. So this plays Game Boy, this plays Game Boy Color, and the newer Game Boy Advance games. I mean, you say this is the best way to play original Game Boy on an original piece of hardware. I'm even going to show you in the box. This is the Gold Zelda limited edition. And so I got this after the DS came out. I'll show you the DS in a minute anyway. So this is the Gold Game Boy Zelda SP edition. This has got Minish Cap Zelda in it, and it's a lovely machine. I'm going to open it and see. We'll show you. It's been in the box for a long time. Let's see. I can open it. It's basically unused. That's the Game Boy. Beautiful golden shine. I don't know why the Game Boys, all the Zelda ones are gold, but and it's got the beautiful Triforce logo. This is one of my most expensive, one of my more expensive things. I knew it would be worth money. I got it all pretty much when it came out. I like Zelda. I mean, you say it comes with Minish Cap in the box. It doesn't come with the manual. No, sorry, it doesn't come with a box for Minish Cap. It comes with thing loose, but it's all in there. It's all in there. Anyway, that's the Zelda Gold Game Boy Advance, and it's worth a lot. It's worth £500 according to price charting. £515. So I think that was a good investment. Right, we say we go to the original DS. So original DS is what I got this one on launch. It comes with, this is the European version, this being comes with this Metroid Hunter's First Hunt demo in it. I mean, so I remember getting stuff like WarioWare on launch. Did Mario Kart come out when it came out? I think I might have got Mario Kart if it came out when it was. I mean, you say though, people, do you really need a DS? I'm going to say you probably don't, because you can play most of the games on the 3DS. The only reason to have a DS that I can tell is it has a GBA slot on it as well. So for those that don't know Pokemon, you need basically a DS to be able to transfer between from the Game Boy Advance games to the black and white 2 style of games, so you can transfer between those. So that's the only reason I can think of having a DS, because the 3DS will play all DS games. And bear in mind that this DS is not region locked, so you can play region 1 games on it, and I believe the 3DS is region locked, so it won't play foreign. I don't know if it plays foreign DS games, but it won't play foreign 3DS games for sure. I mean, DS isn't going for that much. It's sold a lot. I haven't got a price for it. I couldn't find it. Anyway, I'm going to say we'll move on to the 3DS. So this is my model of 3DS, which is a 3DS XL. So this was the one I got. It's this crimson kind of red, I would describe it as. It's a... does it say what model it is? It doesn't say what the colour is, but I would describe it as crimson red. I've showed it before in one of my other videos, my Nintendo video. So you can check out my Nintendo video if you want to see the software portion of what I have in my collection. I mean, this is the hardware focus. Anyway, so this is the second model of 3DS that came out. There was the original Oh, bear in mind, I believe the SP Game Boy is backlit as well. I didn't say that either. Yeah, if you want to play that one, it's backlit as well. Or you could play on an analog pocket because I believe that will play all the games. Anyway, this is the 3DS XL. So this is the one with the improved size of screen, and but then after this one, they also came out with what is called the new 3DS XL, which is basically got a different processor on it, and I think it's required to play a select section of the games. Like there's a Fire Emblem game that will only play with the newer model system, which it will say only compatible with new 3DS on the box. I mean, so this is the 3DS XL. I basically got a lot of games for this on the eShop as well when it was about to shut. I've shown them all, most of them in another video. Anyway, this model of 3DS is going for 130 for this model, but now if you want to get one, I would look out for the new 3DS. Or even if you want to save money, you can probably go for the new 2DS if you don't care about the 3D functionality of this, because that was the big thing in the time. I'm not convinced it's that much for me, but I've tried it a bit, but like I normally play with it off, but I still want the 3DS because I'd rather have a fully complete machine and have most of the functionality if I decide to have it. Anyway, that's the 3DS. I mean, you just say that one is there. Okay, so we'll finish with some other older things in my collection. So we start anyway. So before these have been on my video before, but we're going to show them anyway. We're aiming for about an hour and a half for this video and see where we go. We're nearly done with the Nintendo stuff anyway. Anyway, this is so then before those that don't know. So before Nintendo went into the console industry, they started in the arcades and that, to be honest. They started with stuff like Donkey Kong and that. So these are the Nintendo, they're called Game & Watches. So these are like little handheld things. They're basically single game systems that they did. They're various different ones. So this being the Mario Brothers one. This is Mario Brothers. This is in what's the... I can't really open it very easily. I would say this is a flipped one. So this is without putting the phone down. I've got this one is basically a dual screen kind of thing. So you've got two sides of the screen, and this is like Mario Brothers. It's got Mario and Luigi. So this came out in like I think it's like 83 or somewhere around. This one in the loose condition is worth £67 something, and they say you used to find these all the time at the car boot. I got about 10 Game & Watches at one point, and I traded them all in for PS1 RPG imports, and which I did all right on, but like they're probably worth quite a lot now. I think I had this complete at one point, and it's worth a couple of £100 complete now, I think. Anyway, I've got this one loose. I paid about £3 for it. I've had it for ages though now, and it's in pretty good condition for its age. It's got some minor wear on the front, but that's okay. And I've also got Donkey Kong. I've got this in this bag thing to protect it. This one is missing the battery cap, so you have to be careful with these because they generally have a battery cap on the back that can come quite easily apart from the system. I'm sure they're better box protectors I can use for this at some point, but I'm using these now. They're basically like a sandwich bag. Anyway, this one's missing the battery cap on the back. Oh, they take the circular batteries as well, not the regular AAs. I believe they're called the C batteries. Anyway, that one is going for $87.15, and I believe that is the loose price. If they were boxed, there would be a couple of hundred. That one's Donkey Kong. Anyway, those are the Nintendo consoles. Let's see if I can move them quickly to the best of my ability so I can then get back to show you the rest. We're going to do the Sega ones first, the PlayStation, and then we're going to do the miscellaneous ones to finish with. And there'll be some special stuff in there, so carry on and stick around to the end, and you'll get to see what they are. There would be a big video game grail in there. Alright, let's go out into the hall. I mean, you say I had to spread out today, so we're going into the hall to show you the last one. Anyway, those were the thing. So we're out into the hall now. This is my that's my living room. I mean, you can say that's the hall. All that stuff there is mine. That's all my magic stuff and that lying in the hall. I mean, you say, right, so we're into the hall now. So we're going to go through the Sega stuff. They're basically, this is the thing. So I'll basically start with the Sega stuff. So we'll start at the beginning, which was my first Sega machine. So we'll start at the beginning. This was my first Sega machine. This is the Sega Game Gear. So this was a Sega Portable. It came out after with the originals, a Game Boy. I had a Game Boy and a Game Boy Color. I had the Game Boy. I didn't have the Game Boy when it came out. I got it after the Game Gear, just to be a completist. I upgraded to a Game Boy Color. The Game Boy Color I did get when it came out, but I got rid of it when I got the Game Boy Advance, because the Advance played all the games. Anyway, those I might pick them up again at some point. Anyway, this is the Sega Game Gear. So this was basically Sega's attempt at a portable. And you say this was the first full color handheld that came out. Now, the Game Boy, the batteries lasted a long time. They lasted, I'm going to say 15, 20 hours, to be honest, on like 2 batteries. This little beast went through like a lot of, I think it was between 4 and 6, I can't remember how many, I think it's between 4 and 6 batteries. And the batteries, it killed batteries. It went through the batteries in like an hour. So the Sega Game Gear, it had a good quality screen for the time. Although now it's prone to having dead capacitors on the motherboard, and the screen may need redoing if you know someone that is good at like soldering and stuff. I mean, say my one has the capacitors have gone on the board, or I'm not confident enough to do it myself, or know people that are confident enough to do it. So that's the Sega Game Gear. It's a good little portable. It goes through batteries though at an alarming rate, and they weren't as many games as the Game Boy, but they were good for the time. And you can play Master System games on it as well with a converter. There was called a Master. What was it? I can't remember what the converter's called, but it will play Master System games with a converter because it's very similar hardware. And the Sega Game Gear is going for $185.81. That's box. Oh, and I don't know if you can see it as well. So there was some odd stuff released for the Game Gear. Some peripherals. There was like the TV tuner. As you see, was the TV tuner, which was like it enabled you to watch TV on the Game Gear on a portable. That was probably quite novel for the time. And I thought there was there's some other weird stuff released for it. Anyway, that's one of the TV tuner. Not very useful now with the no analog TV, but I'm sure you can do other weird things with it. Okay, now we'll move on to the Master System. So Master System, I didn't get a Master System on launch. I wasn't at the consoles. I started at 16-bit era on consoles. Anyway, so this is one of my Master Systems I got at launch. So this is the Sega Master System Plus. So this is effectively a Model 1 Master System, or the SG-1000 was the predecessor to the Master System, which was only released in Japanese territories. So this is the Model 1 Master System. Effectively, this is the Master System Plus pack, which came with the Light Phaser, 2-game Hangout and Safari Hunt, and 2 controllers. So the way this will differ from a later Master System is it still has the card slot. So there's a very small selection of games on this that came on cards. I mean, I don't think I've seen many of those in the UK, but this one still has a card slot. The later one does not have a card slot. Anyway, this one I couldn't really find a price for. I'm thinking it's got to be around a couple of £100 because the Light Phaser separately goes for quite a lot. So, and the pads. So I feel that's probably a couple of £100. So anyway, that's a Master System Plus. I'll show you the second model of Master System. So this is one of the later models of Master System. So this is Master System 2. It's a lot smaller than the other one, and it's a lot less angular, and it doesn't come with the card slot anymore. And the the pads are the same. They don't look any different. They've got a flip-up flap to put the cartridge in. This is the Sonic pack. There was also an Alex Kidd pack. the price I'm going to quote is the Alex Kidd pack, because I couldn't find one of the Sonic one. Anyway, the Master System, they seem to be a similar price. There doesn't seem to be much in it. They're 199.47 is the price I can see with the Alex Kidd model, and I've got the Alex Kidd model as well. I've just got the Sonic one down here to show you. Anyway, when you say these ones didn't cost me very much, I think they were between £3 and £5 at the car boot many years ago. And we're going to move on to the Mega Drive. And when you say this is the original Mega Drive, so this one, at the time when it came out, I got a Super Nintendo, although I didn't get a Super Nintendo on launch. So that was around when I started on the consoles. So this was a later pickup. I got this at the car boot. This was fairly cheap. I got it a long time ago. So this is a Mega Drive 1. There's various different models of Mega Drive. So this is the original model. There's a Mega Drive. There's a second model, which is the redesign. And then there's a Model 3, which is like a different one, which was only released in American territories. You've also got the expansions for the Mega Drive. You've got like the Mega CD, which I don't have. I had it briefly, but it didn't work and I returned it. And like a 32X. And to say, and the 32X, which was like a thing to you put in the cartridge port, which is like an expansion to tide over till the Saturn, till the next machine came out. Anyway, this is the Mega Drive. This is the original model of Mega Drive. This was the one that came with a 3-button pad. When you say later Mega Drive had you could get a 6-button pad later. And when you say the difference, people, is the Mega Drive between the Mega Drive games came in proper hard boxes. SNES games came with cardboard. The cardboard ones don't survive. The Mega Drive games are generally found in better condition in the wild now. When you say the Mega Drive, it's got lots of good games. Anyway, we say Mega Drive. It's going for... According to this, it's only going for 53 quid in box condition. I don't know about the later ones, but like it's 53 quid. Alright, so we go on to the other ones. So we go on to the Saturn. I got the Saturn way after the PlayStation. I got the PlayStation way before. And when you say Saturn, I wanted to pick up for a thing. I've had 2 Saturns. Basically, one didn't... basically, I think the disk drive on it went. And I got this one, which is the working one. I've got another one that doesn't work. It's possibly repairable, but it's not something I'm going to fix. I think the laser's gone on the CD. Anyway, so this one I got later. So this Saturn I probably paid about 50 each for them a long time ago there. And when you said the second one, at the time, the person was selling the Saturn and a selection of games, so I paid £50 for the machine. He also had... Oh, this is one of my greater regrets, though, is to say he had a copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga, and he wanted like £50 for Panzer Dragoon separately. I didn't buy it at the time. I regret it now, as it's like nearly £1,000 game, and would have been one of my greatest possessions in my collection. But like, I didn't really want another. I was only buying it for the machine, really. The games more or less came free, but I should have bought Panzer Dragoon. I'm silly not to. Anyway, never mind. Anyway, so that's the Saturn, and you say I paid 50 for it. It's 128 now, and I got loads of games with it, but it should have been like £1,000 plus purchase. Anyway, when you say my Sega machine, I got on. This is one of my favourites. Is the Dreamcast. I got my Dreamcast on launch. I mean, see if I spin it around. I thought there was a number on the box because I was the second person to get it on the thing. I thought there was a number on the box which was my order in it. And you say I got it from Game, which is a UK-based store, which I was kind enough to get it for me, and I got it on launch day, and I've been getting most of my consoles from them, which I've got on launch ever since, pretty much. That's where my game reward card originates now, and like that was around 2000-ish. And with Dreamcast, I've got a lot of good memories of the machine, about when I took it into school for Charities Week, for instance, and yeah, that's one of my good memories of the machine anyway. And they're like... There's only like a couple of hundred games for it. I've got around like 30 or something, but it's like, it's a good machine. And when you say eventually I want a foreign one. I mean, say I got this one this one will only basically. Oh yeah, I forget to mention some of the machines are region locked. People, I'll try and tell you which ones are region locked. I mean, you say Mega Drive, you need a Mega Drive. You can use the Action Replay, and that will enable you to play foreign games. The Saturn, I believe, is region locked. Yeah, Saturn's region locked. Most of these machines are region locked. I don't. Yeah, I'll tell you which ones aren't region locked anyway. The Dreamcast is region locked and will only play those games out of the box, but you can mod them if you know how. Anyway, the Dreamcast is going for £105. Alright, let's move over to the Sony ones. The Sony consoles are all out in the thing. I'll move up, see if I can get around without spoiling it. I don't want to show the things without ruining them, so we'll move over. Alright, so we'll do the two Sony handhelds to start with. That's the Sony PSP, that's the value pack that was the original weight thing. So this was the machine. I think it had a larger card than the standard card. This was a 1 gig card. These memory cards were quite expensive. I don't believe I got this when it came out. It came with the earphones as well, and I think I got the GT, the portable GT. Liberty City Stories, I believe, is the game I got when it came out. Anyway, I didn't get it on launch anyway. That's the PSP, what is called the Geiger pack. And it's going for, as I say, you with the PlayStation games, you can play most of them on the successor on the Vita, but you need it's custom software called Adrenaline that will enable you to play the games, but you play the digital equivalents. You don't use the original things. These ones came on like proprietary storage because you can't insert the PSP game into a Vita. Anyway, you say the PSP is going for £46 something. Alright, and then the second Sony machine was the handheld, or the last Sony handheld, is the PS Vita. So this being the OLED model, this is the 3G and Wi-Fi one, which is the one with the better screen quality. You could also get one with a worse screen quality, not OLED. I mean, this was the best quality screen probably on a handheld up until the Switch, the Switch, more recent version of Switch, which I forgot to mention when I was going through the Switch, which was the Switch OLED. So this had the best quality screen. Anyway, PS Vita games are becoming very collectible. There are lots of things. The machine is quite well known. The machine is a powerhouse for basically JRPGs. There's many JRPGs on it, and quite a lot of the other Sony machines are like RPG machines as well. And so I recommend the Sony machines if you're going for RPGs like I do. Anyway, then we move on to my original PS1. So this is the Sony original one PS1. I got it after it came out. I got it like a thing. See, that's the original tag in the corner. So this is a PS1. It says it's a chipped Japanese machine. It's actually a chipped European machine. I paid the price in the corner, £72. Anyway, it's kind of hard to find a thing. According to price charting, and the best I could find, pricing comparison was £87 for a Japanese chipped machine, so that's similar in thing. Oh, looks like there's two controllers in the box. I didn't even realise it had two controllers in the box. I must be two controllers and a memory card in the box. Anyway, at the time I was basically trading in. I was going to get Final Fantasy VI on the SNES, but then I found out I was better getting a chip PlayStation, which would play other games. And then I also got some PS1 RPGs, so I got the Final Fantasy, the double pack one of Final Fantasy 5 and 6 on double pack, and as well. And I paid the game was nearly as much as the machine. It was like £60 game as well. Anyway, that's the final PlayStation value pack. That's a chip PS1, so that enables you to play all PS1 games of all regions. I think. Right, anyway, that's the PS2, which I got on launch day. This is my first PS2 I got on launch. Some of them that's basically the launch PS2, or PS2 FAT as they're called. So that's basically the launch machine. I'll show you something else in a minute. It's at the back, I'll show you. So this PlayStation 2 is going for £43 box. Nothing major. This is the PS3 FAT, which I got on launch. This is the 60 gig model, as you can see in the front. It was the first one to have a Blu-ray drive, as opposed to the normal one, which were either CD on the PlayStation or DVD drive on the on the PS2. And this one is back compatible. It will play PS1 and PS2, I believe. Yeah, then these ones are in more demand than quite a few of the other ones, because this is the only but they later versions dropped the back compatibility, and they basically cut down on the component cost and stuff. This back compat model is going for quite a lot. It's going for £185. And say we'll move on to the. That's the PS5 box. The PS5's in the actual room. I'll show you later in a minute. I mean, say, the PS5 is fine. The machine is good. It depends if you like the haptic features and stuff on the controller. I don't think it's the best looking Sony machine. I don't like the angular nature of it. It looks like a monolith with it standing tall and proud in the game room. And what it has like an 8K tag in the corner. I don't understand why it has an 8K tag. It doesn't play the games at 8K. I mean, my TV will do 8K, but the games aren't at 8K. Maybe they'll do it later. I don't know. I don't really think they will. That's the PS5. Now I'm going to show you something special. Right. Okay, so this was basically, for comparison, I got a recent. Okay, this is one of my original PS2s. That's an original PS2, and this is something special that I picked up recently. So Lewis, thank you very much for this. Sorry, but I'm trying to hold the camera and do it. So this is a test PS2. So this is a PS2, but it was used in game development, and you can see. I'll try and show you. It has some stickers on it. That's the electrical safety socket. Let's see, it's probably got them on its back. So that's the studios it was used for. It was used in game testing. So it's a test PlayStation. It will play PS1, PS2 games. It will play all of these region of games. It should play burned PS1 games. Apparently this one is slightly faulty and it won't play burned PS2 games, but I knew that when I got it. It's like this and loose. Oh, I believe it's got a sticker here. I might be able to show you. Yeah, it's not very clear. It's property of Activision. It came from Activision UK. It was used in testing in one of their things. So it basically came with. They used it in game development. Anyway, original PS2, test PS2. But as I say, this one is hard to find the value of. I found it's not mint. It's got like some surface scratches on it. I tried to get rid of them, but like that's the best I can do with it. I mean, you say that is a good pickup. It came with these memory cards and various other stuff in it as well, which I'm happy for. I was using mostly. I wanted it to play like foreign PS2 games, so it will do what I wanted for it anyway. Alright, Lewis, thank you very much for the PS2. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I mean, you say it came, I got it in bulk with these N64 and something else I'm about to show you. It's hard to find the value of. I can find a PS2 on eBay listed for 600. I don't know what what they're worth, to be honest. If you know, let me know in the comments section. I'm gonna say I'd be curious to know what they're worth. But it's the only test machine I've got. I'd like others. And you say, for instance, I'd like a test PS3 because that basically will make this one kind of obsolete, because apparently it plays PS1, PS2, PS3 games of all regions on one console. It means I won't have to use the either the 1 or the 2. To be honest. So anyway, if you want to get one, I'd go for the test PS3, but like I think that one's probably more expensive. I mean, we say that PS3 on the rise. Anyway, all right. I need to say we'll go back into the game room and we'll try and go through the other set games. I'm making a mess when I'm doing this. As I say, these game things take up a lot of space. All right, let's go back into the game room and we'll carry on with the miscellaneous stuff. Right. So let's do. Okay, we'll do the last Xbox. Okay, we'll do the Xbox to start with. Okay, so I'll start with the Xbox. Need to say I'm a big. I like Xbox. I didn't start on the original Xbox. I did start on the original Xbox, but I got it later in its life. I got it towards the end of its life. I mean, this one I got was towards the end of its life. The 360 came out within not very long of it coming out. I think I got this with the last part of my student loan. I paid 99 for it but like the 360 came out much longer after. Anyway, this is one with Halo and Midtown Madness. This is my original machine. I've got other machines that I'll show you again. I've got some modded machines as well. I've got 2 modded machines as well that have custom firmware on it. I think it's XBMC is the custom firmware on them, and I've got another one which is the original one. This one is the black model, which is going for in this boxed condition. Is going for, it's like £89, not a lot really. But I have this one as well, which is one of the more interesting ones. This is the Xbox Crystal, which I picked up recently. This one is modded. It's got XBMC on it, which enables you to play the games from burnt. You can dump the games to the hard drive and do all sorts of things with it. So this one is in good condition. It is loose though. It should have a matching controller as well. But unfortunately, I didn't get the matching controller with it. But I will keep my eyes open for one. Keep my eyes open for it, and the box. I'd be interested in getting a box as well for it to make it box and complete. Anyway, according to price charting, this loose Xbox Crystal is going for £481, which seems excessive. I don't think it's worth nearly that. I thought it would be more 150 plus 200 maybe. Anyway, they say the complete one is going for 700. Which I found insane. That I don't feel that Xbox is nearly worth that much. Anyway, you say we'll go on to the Xbox 360. I'm trying to avoid knocking this stuff over. That's fine. One of my things is hanging on the thread by balance, but it's okay. Right, let's move on to the Xbox 360. So the Xbox 360, I got the original Xbox 360. Whatever the larger hard drive size was when it came out, but unfortunately all the Xbox, like all Xbox 360s, it red ringed basically on me, and I had to replace it. So I got the 360 in the month it came out. I didn't get it on launch. Whereas say I got this one as a replacement. This is the later model. This is the slimline one, which is the black one. This is basically a 200. It also has a larger hard drive than the original one. I mean, I think they go even larger than this, the drives, but I've never gone through this drive. It's 250 gig. This is what's called I believe it's called the Elite Edition. It's a black one. The original model was like a white one. Anyway, so this is one of my favourite consoles, and so check out my Xbox 360 video, and I'm basically going to do another Xbox 360 video next month. I believe I'm going to do my favourite games on the Xbox 360, so check out my Xbox video. And this is the Xbox 360, the 250 gig model, the Elite I believe it's called, and it's going for, it's not a lot, it's like 56 quid complete in box, but like that's what it is. Right, and we go to the most modern one. So this is the Xbox Series X. There's also the Xbox Series S as well for those that want that kind of thing, which is more like a cut down model, which is a digital only kind of machine. And you oh, so sorry, I forgot about the Xbox One. That's the intermediate machine. So I didn't get an Xbox One, but I got back to the machine with the Xbox X, and it will play all the Xbox One games. So you don't really need an Xbox One inverted commas, though, to be honest. Right, that's the Xbox Series X. This is the box for those. Cool. Trying to do this and film is quite difficult. Alright, so that's the Xbox Series X. I quite like the Xbox X. I prefer it to the PlayStation because in some ways I prefer it to the PlayStation. I prefer the architecture of the machine. I think it looks better. I technically prefer the controller. I use it as a PC controller as well. I think the Xbox Live architecture is better than PlayStation Network. Sorry, PlayStation. I do like the format exclusives, though, on the PlayStation, but they're not as many of those. Anyway, that's the Xbox Series X. And you say Game Pass people, though. On Game Pass is really good even if you're not doing it through the Xbox and you're doing it on a PC. I recommend Game Pass. It's a great way of checking out various games and seeing what you like. And then if you want to buy the games later, you can. And you say that's the Xbox Series X. and it's a new machine. I don't really need to go through that. Then now we'll go to the miscellaneous things. So I'll go through some of my miscellaneous items, which are over in this section of the room. So we'll start with one. Okay, so this is another tabletop game. So this is an Astro Wars handheld. It's similar to the style to something like Galaxian and Space Invaders. It's similar to those. It's basically all in one kind of thing. It's got its own monitor, and these are like tabletop games. I would just. Yeah, I call them as a tabletop. It's like it's slightly bigger than a handheld, but they're basically trying to replicate an arcade. And before the ones that would play multiple games came out, this was a good way of playing things in the home. So this came out around before I was born. I believe this came out in 81. I was born in 82. For those that don't know me in person, anyway, this is Astro Wars. I believe this is going for around 50 or 60 in this loose kind of edition. I think the box ones are going for even more. That was, I think I paid £6 for it at the car boot. But it takes the really big batteries. I can't remember what the bigger ones are. They're not AA's or AAA's. I think they might be. I can't remember the larger batteries. I mean, you say don't leave the batteries in people on the handhelds. So say they leak if they're not careful. So because I've had to clean quite a few of them out of ones where the batteries are corroded. So I don't leave them in the thing. Right. So we'll now move on to the some classic computers. Right, so we'll go to the Spectrum. So for those the UK is basically this one of the iconic micros in the UK. So this is a Spectrum. So this was designed by someone called Clive Sinclair, which it was the person who invented it. This is the rubber key model. So this is a 48K one. Is this 48K? I think it's 48K. My Spectrum's knowledge is not as good as some of the home computers. Z computer. Yes, I believe this is the 48K model. I mean, so I've got the PSU and all of it, but I don't have the box for this one. I've also got a Plus 2, and I'm going to show you some other one in the model. Yeah, so this one, I'm pressing the keys quite hard now. It doesn't have hardly any keyboard feel. These are rubber. These are prone to going. There was a predecessor to this called the ZX80, which was the original model of Spectrum, which was a white model, and I believe that was also released as a kit form for people to build at home and try and save a bit of money. There was also like various other models of it. There was like a 16K, 48K, Plus 2, which was one with a tape built in, and there's a Plus 3, which is like a disc. Anyway, the Sinclair Spectrum, a classic British home computer, going for about now in box condition. I believe it's from around 50, but it depends on the model. Right, now we've got another slightly more unusual one. So we've got the Sinclair QL. So this is more like a business computer rather than a games machine. They were games for it. They were like released on like these weird. Oh, so for those So the Sinclair, basically most of the games were on cassette. And while I was doing research for this video, the later games are available on disc. I found out you can get various modded machines on eBay and various other sites that will enable you to play the games off SSDs, which I'd be quite interested in playing them on like original hardware or on the thing. Because the games at the time, they took ages to load. I've got some of the more iconic games. I've got some of the Ultimate games I like. No, I don't think I can reach them to show you at the moment, but like the Ultimate games are quite fun, like Jetpack and various like Attic, and that are quite fun. I mean, you say so. This is the QL, which is more like this. Was the business end one of the Sinclair range. I mean, you say the games came up, the things came up on what are called micro drives. I think I have a box of them somewhere, but I can't really find it in time to show you. Anyway, this one is more a business kind of computer. I wouldn't recommend it from the gaming front, although I think they're relatively rare. I had another one I sold, which had the huge manual. It comes. I don't know if this one has the manual, but it was like a large thing that comes in like a folder. And I know I've seen those available. Anyway, that's the Sinclair QL. I couldn't really find a price for it though, but we'll get on to the other stuff. Right, let's go through what I've got and see. Right, I'll just pick up the first one that's in the pile. Okay, so the first one looks like this. Oh, jeez, that's heavy. Whoa. So, trying to avoid the avalanche of boxes coming down. Right, so we go with the first one in the pile. So it's this, which is a Pandora's box, which is like this arcade stick kind of thing combined with an emulator. So it plugs basically into the TV, and it enables you to play lots of games on the TV. It comes with an HDMI cable, and you plug it into the TV, and it's a way to play most of the old school arcade games on the TV. Basically it's not an amazingly high built quality thing. I'll try and show you the box. So this is the box. It's very indescript. It's made in China, beware people. So this is the one of the more recent ones. It's a Pandora's Box 12. So this enables you to play on the TV most of the games on the TV. Although they're not, it enables you basically, it's got most of the Neo Geo library. We'll get onto the Neo Geo in a minute. And when you say it enables you to play most of the library on a more modern TV. But like the graphics filter on it isn't really good. It looks like they've smeared Vaseline on the screen, and it looks kind of grimy, I would describe it as. So is it the best way to play the games? As it said on the box, made in China. What did I pay for it? About £100. That's basically what it's worth. It's quite fun. You can also use it as a PC controller. You can also plug it into the bottom. If you plug the USB slot in without the thing in, it will enable you to play the game. Just use it as a 2-player arcade controller on the PC. Right. Now we'll get on to the ones. So we'll go to... I'll go through these ones. This one. There's some more obscure stuff here. Oh. Okay, so we'll go... This is another handheld, although this isn't going to be as well known as some of them. So this is a GP32. So this is GP32 Blue. So it's an early emulation console. It's made by Game Park, which is a Korean company. I will show you the machine in a minute. That's the cleaning cloth that came with it. Some of the paraphernalia. This is basically the thing. Let's see if I can show you the machine. Sorry for that. I'll see if I can get it out. That's the machine. So it's like this is the backlit unit, whereas there's some other ones that are like front lit only. I'm seeing if I can get the card out very easily. I can't really get the card out very easily, but like it's an emulation console. There were some actual games released for it as well. I mean, you can say it's kind of like... Yeah, it's like an emulation console basically, because you had to link it to a PC back in the thing. I've got the card reader and stuff that you need for it. Not showing that on this video, but I didn't have amazing internet for the time, so you basically had to link it to download the games and stuff, and it was quite hard to use. I don't think the manual was quite poorly written. And basically, I required additional help to get it to work. But it does work. I could play stuff like Doom off it and various stuff like Rick Dangerous. I could remember getting to work, and stuff like Day of the Tentacle. I remember getting to work and stuff. Anyway, that's a GP32. Can't really find many prices for it. Not very useful now. But you can emulate games on various platforms now, like the like Steam Deck or anything like that. Or you can play it on like the Analog Pocket for handheld games, although you can play other things for it. So we'll do the handhelds next. So we've got an Atari Lynx. I believe my only Atari system. I don't have a 2600. I'll look out for one at the point. As you look in the box, this is refurbished. I remember getting this from Game back in the days. I think it was when they were Electronic Boutique. I remember they had some of these. So these are refurbished one. So these have been refurbished by, I believe it might have been, I don't know if it's Atari or Telegames or one of those things, but this is fully boxed. So this is a Lynx 2 as opposed to a Lynx 1. It's a different shape. This is more angular, whereas the other one isn't. So the Lynx was another colour handheld. I haven't got as much experience with Lynx as I do as Game Gear. And they say quite a lot of the Atari things were named after cats, so they got Lynx and Jaguar, for instance, and they say that most of them are named after cats. Anyway, the Lynx has a unique function. It's got like the flip grip, so you can flip it around and play it. It's designed for left-hand. You can play it whether you're left-handed or right-handed, because there's two sets of buttons in the controller, so you can play it whichever way. Anyway, I paid probably a tenner for it around the time, and it's going for quite a lot now. The Lynx is going for... Let me consult my list. 310 according to the thing. That sounds a little high to me. Anyway, reason to say I don't believe I have any games for the Lynx. Anyway, we'll move on to the next handheld. So we've got a Supervision. So this is a quick shot Supervision. This is another one. The screen quality on some of these early handhelds, this is when they're black and white again. They're not color. So this is what I couldn't find a price on this one. So I could find the similar one. I believe it's got a Japanese origin. So the only one I could find was a Wataurus one, which is the Japanese version. And it's like £8 something. So like I had no idea how much this one. Anyway, this is by Quickshot, which also made they developed more controllers. So they did various joysticks and stuff. Anyway, that I believe is all of the handhelds. So we'll go on. Is that all the handhelds? Oh no! I've got one more handheld. So this is the Barcode Battler. So this is a weird one. It's a handheld. It's kind of like, so it's basically like playing an RPG in which you basically had to scan various barcodes to it's a bit like Pokemon as well. You could basically get monsters by scanning various barcodes of various things. And supposedly back in the days, various sales of various products went through the roof when they realised that they give you various stuff in the game for it. I also found while doing research for this video, you can get a later model called the Barcode Battler 2, which is also available. Now, the Barcode Battler is going for about 50 quid. I think the second model is going for more. Anyway, it's going for around £50, and it's interesting. There's not really much of a game, though. It's just a lot of numbers. It's basically like an RPG kind of thing crossed with Pokemon. Right, then we go to another early console. We've got the Binatone, the TV Master. This is basically like a Pong console. It's licensed by Magnavox. That basically, I believe it's a different console. Magnavox, I believe, was the Odyssey, which was another earlier thing. Anyway, this is the Binatone. This came out in like the late 70s, I'm going to say. And they're between like 20 and 50, I think. I've also got the gun for this as well. Anyway, that's the Binatone. It's going for it's 20 to 50 on that. It's like a Pong console. And when you say we go on to the other stuff, so we'll go. Okay, we'll go. Try and keep them to the thing. Okay, so I've got that. Without trying to spoil anything, that was my Amiga 500 Plus. So I showed Bill in my video before. Check out my Amiga video. My Amiga and PC I did, so that's an Amiga 500 Plus. That was my later model. The one I've had at launch is in a box somewhere, and I've got the monitor, and it's in the other room somewhere, and I've got this one in show. Anyway, this one's in good condition. I paid around £3 for it. It's going for way more than £3. Anyway, let's go on to some more exciting later stuff. So let's show my PC Engine stuff. Right, so I've got... Okay, this is the PC Engine Super Graphics. And we say the actual machine's up there. It's plugged in with the Neo Geo. I'll show that in a minute. Anyway, this is the PC Engine Super Graphics. So this is the advanced version of the PC Engine, which came out in Japan. I mean, so this will play all of the PC Engine games. Well, the card games. It will play all the card games. There were a later set of games, there are 6 games that are exclusive to this one, which I'll show some of in a minute. And it won't play the CD games, but you can, in theory, connect the CD drive to it, So this is the machine that will sort of enable you to play all the games, but you still need additional attachments to make it work, like the CD drive and stuff as well. Anyway, I got the machine. I didn't quite get to the CD drive and that as well, but I'll show you. So the machine is going for. It's one of the more rare machines. It's going for over 500. It's 537 according to price charting. Anyway, PC Engine, good for shooters, and I like my shooters, so I'm going to show you the games. I'll start with the shooters. So this is Darius Plus, and when you say these games, I'm going to show you these games because I couldn't fit them in my other video. This is Darius Plus, so we'll play on a regular PC Engine as well, because it's got this purple thing. Because for those who don't know, the PC Engine games are kind of like color-coded on various up the spine in which they'll play. So this one's got purple, which means it's a regular HuCard game. So it'll play on the standard PC Engine. But this has got enhanced for the super graphics. I don't remember how it's enhanced for the super graphics. And it's got like the tag numbers and how much it cost in Japan originally. Anyway, that's Darius Plus. I like Darius games. They're the fish tank of shooting games. For those who don't play, they've got a lot of aquatic theme. It's Darius Plus. It's going for £38 something. And this was Aldine. So this is featured in my video before. This has been, and this has got the exclusive super graphics thing on. So it's got blue, which means it's got the super graphics tag on, so you can line them up like that on your shelf, and it make it easier to identify for. So that means it's a super graphics game. They were basically, I think there was 6 games total, this being 1. I don't think it's as good as people as some of the other shooters that have been released on the format. I mean, so I picked up a lot of the PC Engine games that were recently on the released on the Wii U eShop, and I got those. I mean, this is Aldine. It's been as high as 500 on price charting. It is now, as of this video, £179.46. So not as much it was. It has been nearly 500. I mean, you say this is the last game I've got. So this is Modo King Granzor. I believe it's based on a Japanese anime. I don't know. I haven't seen that anime. I believe it is a Japanese anime. Anyway, it's kind of like a mech, kind of like platform kind of game. I mean, you say it's okay. I don't think it's amazing. It's going for quite a lot, though. It's going for £96.13, one of the more unusual games. There's also available, there's a conversion of Ghosts and Goblins, or however you pronounce the name in Japan, the Japanese one. I won't try and pronounce it. Anyway, yeah, so that's the PC super graphics. Anyway, a good machine. I paid 200 and something for it from a specialist, and they say it's worth more than that now. Okay, so now we'll go with one of the grails in my collection. So we've got the Neo Geo AES. So this is the Japanese machine. I'll get to the machine in a minute. I can show you the machine. I'll show you a bit about it. So we'll go to the thing. That's the so this is the Japanese version. This is in the box. The box is in good condition, but it has some wear. Let's see if I can get to the games. Yeah, these are the games. So this is so the machine. It's so basically the Neo Geo, when it came out, it was basically the first of the sync hardware, basically. So it basically was like having an arcade in your home. It was one of the most powerful machines that launched at the time, and it was supported well into the late Samurai Showdown, like the ones I'm going to show the original in a minute, and I say Samurai Showdown 5 Special was like the last game that came out, and that was well into the 2000s. Anyway, I mean, he said the machine is going for a lot. It was released. It was expensive when it came out. Anyway, it was around the 500 to 600 range, and now it's going for, at the moment, it's like 537. So bear in mind, this is a Japanese machine. I mean, you say the difference between the Japanese machine. So the Neo Geo will play all region games, but the settings for the thing out of the box. So if you're playing on a Japanese machine, it will boot with all the things like the blood and that. But you can play all region games. The different you can get stuff like a UniBIOS chip that will enable you to change the region settings without putting the game in, and there's various other mods and stuff you can do on it. Anyways, so the games, they look like books. So this is Samurai Spirits. So this is the tag. So basically, they started Neo Geo games, came out on these cartridges. They were like not very big. So this one is 202 meg cart. This is the original Samurai Showdown. So the Neo Geo, for those that don't know, is well known for its fighting. It's mostly for its arcade games. So it's going to be mostly beat 'em ups and action games. So this is Samurai Spirits. This is the first one in the series. So this is 202 meg. I mean, so I'll show you a cartridge in a minute when I get them out. This one's in the AES at the moment, so I won't be getting that one out. So Neo Geo games are very expensive, basically. They were expensive when they came out, and they're really expensive now. The difference between the AES games are basically the English games are more expensive generally because they were released in smaller quantities, and the Japanese games are cheaper in bulk. I mean, so you can also get a CD machine that you can get most of the games on, but the CD machine is crippled because it's on an original speed CD drive, which is like a single speed. And there was a later model called the CDZ, which had a quicker drive, but only the thing. So if you're waiting for playing like a fighting game, the disc access pause between the rounds can be about 30 seconds plus. So I wouldn't think that was the best way to experience the games, I would probably recommend emulating them if you can to like if you don't want to play on the original one. I'm going to probably get a multi-cart at some point, but they're still expensive. Anyway, that's Samurai Spirits. Samurai Spirits is a Japanese game. It's going for £79.73. But this is an English one, so this is NAM 1975. So this is similar in style. This is 46 meg. So bear in mind the later games went up to like 600 plus meg, nearly 1,000 meg. Some of them. So when you say one of my other regrets is basically, it's not really a regret. I did go back for the game. I saw a copy of Garou Mark of Wolves in a shop. I went back for it. I got some of the other stuff I'm about to show you later. But like they'd sold the Mark of Wolves. I thought I should have put it aside for me. I can't remember if it was an English one or a Japanese one. I think it had a £60 tag on it at the time. And I got the other stuff that I wanted. But I didn't get Mark of Wolves, and I would have loved to have Mark of Wolves. I've got it on various other things like emulator. Oh, also, another option with Neo Geo I forgot to mention is you can get the MVS thing, which is technically just the same as the AES. Other than they're more like having the arcade boards, although you can get some more consoleized versions that will enable you to play these boards, because basically they were designed for the arcade. So basically just like you could get the MVS things, which and the MVS versions are generally cheaper. Anyway, back to NAM 1975. It's like a Cabal kind of game. Cabal is one of the games I describe it to. It's like a similar, although I find this one quite hard, or Blood Brothers or something like that, similar in style to that. So this is NAM 1975. Then you see they've got like a pen mark on the front. It looks like the flesh has been covered up. It looks like some kind of weird kind of censorship thing. It's also got this like the Neo Geo kind of hang tag kind of thing, which is still intact. Nice. Anyways, this version is going for, I think it's around £300. I could find like two versions of the game. That's an English one, bear in mind. Let's say that's now 1975. Now we'll see if we can get over to show the Vectrex. Right. Alright, so is it on the table? So this I also went back in the same shop where I got the Neo Geo, the game for the Neo Geo, not the Neo Geo itself. The Neo Geo I got that from mail order. I paid about 200 and something for it, again around the same time as the PC Engine. Anyway, so this is the Vectrex for those that don't know. So that's the box. That's an English Vectrex box. So this is basically a console that came out around the same time as the video game Crash. For those that don't know what the video game Crash, it occurred in the early 80s, around 82, 83, I think it's. No, this came out in 82, which was near when I was born, and then the video game Crash happened, and basically the video game thing went downhill until up until about the NES, when the NES came out. And this came out around the video game Crash. So this basically most of the consoles released around that period are quite collectible, as they weren't released in as big quantities. Anyway, the unique thing about the Vectrex is, so that's the little Vectrex hanging there in the corner. I could plug it in. And when you say those when have got a Vectrex for the first time, it's got its own built-in vector monitor, but the way it's in black and white, although there are later mods available now that enable you to play the thing in colour. So basically, in a way, it enables you to put colour into the game, which it's got its own built vector monitor, and you put an overlay on the screen, and it enables you to have an overlay, a colour overlay, which it displays. Anyway, that's the control. It basically has its own little mini controller thing, which they're quite good actually. They're 4-button controller. It slots into the front of the unit, and it all fits into the single unit, and you can carry it, but it's quite heavy. It's like a £20 unit. Let's see if I can get to the screen. Yeah, it's under here. Let's see if I can show you a screen. Oh yeah, it's worth bearing in mind the Vectrex has one of the best packing games. It comes with Mindstorm, which is a version of Asteroids, and it's one of the best versions of Asteroids. I quite like Asteroids. Anyway, That's the Mindstorm, the overlay for Mindstorm. You say, oh, it says 2 players on it, but like it's not simultaneous 2-player. I mean, you say that's the overlay. It slots on top of the screen, which enables you to play it through the overlay. And most of the games all come with overlays. You need to look out for if they have the overlays or not. So the machine is going for... Okay, so this machine, I couldn't find the British version, but this is an MB one, which is the British one. There's also available an American version, which is done by, I believe it's GCE in America. And then there's also a Japanese one, which is quite uncommon as well. I mean, you said that so I compare it to the American version. That version, I've looked it up, is going for, let's consult the paper. It's going for 640, the US version complete. Bear in mind, mine is complete, but it doesn't have the poly in the box. And it's missing the Passport magazine, which was like a magazine that came in the box. So it's probably, it might be slightly less, but like I'll show you the games now. And then we're going to round out the video. I got this nice lot of boxed games with it. I didn't pay very much for any of them. We'll go through the ones I can go. Okay, so let's go through them. I've got them in alphabetical order, so let's go for them. They come on these little cartridge things, and basically all of these are going to be box complete. I believe one is missing the manual, but they're all complete other than that. I can't remember which one's missing. So this is Armour Attack. So this is like a... What's the game? It's like a maze game where you control a little tank and move around the screen with various enemies. I can't remember. There's another more famous game, but some of these are quite like... There's a lot of games around this time frame which are like clones of other games, but they've got various different names. Anyway, that's Armour Attack. The European version is going for £39.81. And next in the thing, Bedlam. This is like it's a bit like a Tempest kind of clone. It's a bit like a Tempest clone. You know how Tempest works. I'm trying to be quick as possible, so I'll go as quick as possible. This is £61 something. I'll try and see when I've got an interesting to say. This is Berserk. Also a magic card. so get my crossovers in some. £34.42 for Berserk. This one is still got the poly on it. I don't remember how much these games cost me. They weren't more than like 5 to 10 each. Next one is, I'm doing them in alphabetical order. Here it is. Cosmic Chasm. I don't remember most about these. They're quite a lot of shooters and various Space Invader kind of thing. That's £42 something. I do like the Vectrex though. It is one of my favourite machines. I mean, you say you can get a lot of homebrew and stuff on it. And there are only 18 games, 18 European games. I've got like 14 out of 8 them. So I'm trying to probably go for a complete set at some point. Let's go Clean Sweep. So this is one of the versions of Clean Sweep. There is a rarer version of this called Mr. Boston Clean Sweep, which is one of the Grail games on the machine. So that isn't one. It was released as a promo for Mr. Boston, which I believe is a US liquor store. So this is, it's basically a Pac-Man game. You go around a maze collecting like the things as like Pac-Man. Anyways, this version of Clean Sweep is going for £28 something. Then we go Flipper. So it's Flipper Pinball. This one is not great condition. The top of the box is damaged, but it's okay. Still worth 53 quid. And I do like my pinball games. I'm going to probably get one of the At Game Legend pinball tables at some point. I'll keep you updated if I get one of those. And then we go, one of my most expensive games on the machine. This is Fortress of Narzoid. That looks like a Woolworths tag on it. Okay, so that was 1995 when it came out in like 80 something. You know, reduced to $9.95. I paid somewhere around like £10 for it. It's one of the best games on the machine. It's like £93 something. Then we go Hyper Chase. So this is like a pole position kind of thing. I don't remember if Pole Position came out as well. I feel that did come out as well. So this is Hyper Chase. This is going for £49 something, a racing game. Then we've got Scramble. I do believe that was one of the only official home conversions of Scramble up until a lot later. So that's Scramble on the Vectrex, going £37.91. Then we've got Solar Quest. I think that's similar to one of the early games. I believe one of the earliest games. It was like a single screen kind of game. So that's Solar Quest, going for £41.26. And then we go. So this is one of the earliest games with synthesized speech. So this is Spike. It's also my Magic player type. It's also the person that always wants to win. I'm a Spike. So the word Spike Molly. That's the thing. This came out very. That was one of the first games to use synthesized speech. That's Spike. And we've got Starship. It's like a Star. I believe this had the Star Trek license in NTSC and it didn't release with that here. I think that's accurate. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, that's $29.80 something. And then we go Web Warp. Another like kind of Tempest thing where you go up a web and the thing. It's basically like Tempest. It's £68 something. And then we go Space Wars to finish with. This is 68, but I couldn't find the British, the European version. I could only find the NTSC one, so that is £68, that one. The NTSC one. And also, the last thing to finish with is the Microvision. So this is basically by the same people that did the Vectrex. So this is a handheld system which had interchangeable game carts. I believe it was the first handheld that had interchangeable game cartridges, and it came out long before the Game Boy. I got this at the car boot. I didn't pay much for it. I think I paid maybe £10 for it. It's complete boxed. It's in very good condition. That's the European one. I don't remember if I could find a price on the European one. I could only find the American one. And the American one is going for £109, I think it is. Anyway, that's £109. Anyway, I think I've shown you all the stuff now, and so we're about an hour and a half, which is where I targeted. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Thank you very much. I hope I hope you're still here and enjoying it. I mean, to say the best thing you can do for me, people, is a subscription. I mean, say I enjoy doing these very much, and I plan to keep on going. And say I've got more planned for the channel. And say next month I'm going to be doing my favorite Xbox 360 games. And then I'll have a think about what I'm going to do. I'd like to do some more gameplay videos at some point. And also, I think I'm going to be doing something new to the channel as well. I might be doing some music playlists, because although I've got music playlists on other platforms like Spotify, I like to share them with people. So I think I might add some music playlists to the channel, and we'll see what that does. Anyway, they're not too difficult to do. Those take minutes. These take a while. This one took me like a couple of hours to find all the stuff to show and like an hour plus to shoot. Anyway, thanks very much. Like, comment and subscribe. See you next month. Thanks very much. Bye.